Welcome to episode 24, everyone.
24, the Jake McCabe. Oh, sorry, the Brian McCabe episode.
No, you messed up.
Fine. 24.
Okay.
Episode 24. And with that, let's get going, shall we?
Let's
get going. Where would you like to start? Would you like to talk about your favorite player of all time this season? The man who has been suspended almost as many games as he's played this season?
Actually, he's been... Oh, this season, I don't know. Career-wise, I think he's been suspended for more games than he's played.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane. But, yeah, he's too big for the league.
No, he's not. Chara can play. He can play.
Well, you don't think so.
I don't think his size has anything to do with it. I think he needs to learn how to control himself.
He's just trying to get Rempe'd up, right? He's just trying to Rempe up his team and the fans.
Anyway, basically he's injured. He's out.
He is injured and out.
He's week to week, so. And this comes after that fight with Tanner Jeannot, where Tanner Jeannot tried to pick him back up and keep fighting.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, pretty much every fight he's been in, he's always gotten the better of his opponent. Or at least, like, you know what I mean? But, I mean, Tanner Jeannot got the best of him, and he wasn't done with him. Like, I'm not done with you. Get over here.
Yeah, clearly.
And he just he just clocked him.
We have a friend with us for this episode. He is asleep, but his name's Cinder.
Bark at us in the comments if you think his dog is cute.
Yeah, he probably looks like a black fluff ball on screen, but that's okay.
He just looks like a t-shirt laying there.
I don't know what kind of t-shirts you wear, but mine aren't fluffy.
Like just dirty laundry that you just throw on the bed because you're moving off your chair, or you know what I mean? The old college thing where you move your laundry to the bed and then move it back to your chair when you go to bed. Yeah.
We have some much more fun news. John Tortorella has been fired as head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Torts has been torched.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit better. We'll go with that.
Torch and Torts. Yep. Well, I mean, he's not known for his player development for young stars. He's clearly lost the team, and he even said that basically in a nutshell in his interview.
He said that like 36 hours before he was fired.
Yeah, he just basically said this is not my cup of tea, more or less, in a much different way, and he wasn't happy. Philadelphia Flyers weren't happy with him because, I mean, do they really expect it to be that much better than what they are? Like, they're a team that I kind of expected to be exactly where they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it depended on a few factors, but losing someone like Carter Hart, you know, it just doesn't bode well. I know why he was lost, but still.
Yes, we won't get into that piece.
Oh, there we're back.
There he is. Welcome back. So, I mean, John Tortorella, it just feels like he's been around forever. Quite literally, almost since the Gretzky days, where like his first season, he was hired as the interim coach, at the end of the season. He was hired with the New York Rangers. Coached 4 games that season. Had a 0 wins, 3 losses, 1 tie record to finish off that season. But I mean, he's a Stanley Cup winning coach. He's made the playoffs in almost half the years that he's coached. So he's not a bad coach, but he's not a developmental. Like, development isn't his strong suit.
Yeah, development is not benching Mitchkov because he had a missed assignment.
No, he's
just not today's coach. You know, he still understands the game. I believe he could be a good coach if he would adjust to the way players are today because they're different. Just personality wise, you're not going to sit there and abuse them, yell at them.
no.
And the way the game's changed a little bit, he's not too bad. It's mainly just player interactions and the benching, stuff like that, how he handles player development.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy when your young stud is not exactly fluent in the language that he is. So when you literally can't communicate with him, it makes his job that much harder. So it's tough.
Yes,
That piece
but
is not easy.
it's not like they don't. They could still communicate. Quick side note: Ottawa won against Detroit tonight. Montreal looks like they're going to lose to Philly. Philly's up 6-4 with 30 seconds left, so unlikely that they. Yeah,
Well,
Mitchkov and Couturier have done well tonight for me in fantasy. 2 goals from Mitchkov, 2 goals and an assist from Couturier, so
of course it did.
I'm happy.
Of course it did. But when it's the new coach buzz, right? So it happens so often. I mean, it's not exactly breaking news of me saying this, that when a new
Holy
coach is
crap.
brought in, the players perform for him.
The Lightning beat the Utah Hockey Club 8-0.
The Utah. The Utah. That's a thumping.
Yeah, I don't know what hurts more, to get stomped by a good team like that or lose 7-3 to the Sabres. The Pens lost.
I'd say losing to the Sabres 7-3 is worse. I mean, yeah, you've scored a couple of goals, but you've also given up 7 goals to one of the worst teams in the league, especially over the last decade. They've been atrocious. It's not even like they've been there and done that. They've just never have. They're like losing 7-3 to the farm team of the NHL is way worse than losing 8-0 to a really good team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But there's some that would argue the other way. It's like 8-0 still 8-0.
Well, all I care about is Ottawa's getting that first wild card spot as of right now, so that's cool.
It would be nice. It would be nice to see the Sens do well, and just to beat a team that's been there in the playoffs every year, just to shake things up. That would be, from that perspective. Then also they're a Canadian team.
As of right now, the way the standings sit, they'd be facing Toronto in the first round.
I wish that would happen the same way it did in the early 2000s, where the Leafs had a history of winning that series. As a Leaf fan, I'm obviously hoping for that. But from that being said, at least the Leafs and the Sens don't have that recent history of playoff battles like the Leafs do. Like, the Leafs fans have trauma against the Lightning, except that they've won a series against them, and then getting absolutely dummied by the Florida Panthers, or the several Game 7 lead, giving up this Game 7 leads to the Boston Bruins. Like, at least the Sens would be almost like a clean slate for the Leafs. So, not saying that I have any hope whatsoever, really.
No.
You feel better?
Yeah, sure.
All right. But going back to the Torts firing, there's an interesting stat that you brought up before we started recording. What was that?
Torts is, I believe, I haven't checked completely, but from what I've seen, what I've Googled, he's tied the record for most times being fired as a coach, and he's tied it with 5 firings.
5 firings. A dog.
Yeah. Come on back up on the bed.
A dog. So, yeah, John Tortorella, I mean, everybody knows the entertainment value that he has with the media. He definitely does not tread lightly there. I'm surprised he hasn't been fined more because he said some pretty, like,
he has, but I mean, he's been around for a while too.
Yeah, his first head coaching job was with the New York Rangers in the 99-2000 season. And the average coach is usually gone after 4 years. Like that's about the lifespan of a coach with the team, is about that 4-year range. And he has a history of being more than that. Like he went right to the Tampa Bay Lightning where he won a cup with them, but he was there for 7 years.
Yeah, 2001 to 2008. So
yeah, he was with the Rangers for 5 years. Then he was with the Columbus Blue Jackets for 6. And then now his second shortest tenure with the Philadelphia Flyers for 3.
Yeah.
So the only tenure worse than that was his first partial season when he coached for 4 games with the New York Rangers. So I didn't know that, but he's actually been the head coach of the New York Rangers in 2 separate stints.
Well, that first one isn't, I mean, it counts, but not in the same way.
Still the head coach of the team.
It was an interim position, so.
Still the head coach.
Had a pretty good career.
He's got 770 wins as a coach, 1620 games coached, the Stanley Cup. I'd say he's pretty weathered in that sense. But yeah, I mean, I remember back in the mid 2010s when the Leafs were just absolutely atrocious before they had Matthews, and like the Leafs had no identity and they didn't know what they were except for a bottom feeder team year after year, and they're trying to supplement. But like those years, like 2014, 15, 16, like those years, I remember thinking, at least if they hired Tortorella, there'd be some entertainment to watch here, because he'd be like flying off the handle at the media in Toronto. That would be a really entertaining thing to see, is Tortorella coaching a really crummy Leafs team and having to handle the media afterwards. That would have been a circus act.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I thought that would have been hilarious. I mean, Tortorella probably knows better than not to come to Toronto. I mean, sometimes he can't even handle the media when he was down in Tampa or Columbus, and he's had some pretty good quotes.
Found the clip by Cinder.
Let's see this quote you got.
This is just from a couple days ago.
All right. So just while you're, in case anybody's wondering, just while you're pulling this up, John Tortorella is 9th overall in wins as a head coach in the NHL. Peter Laviolette, Al Arbour, Ken Hitchcock, Lindy Ruff, Paul Maurice, Barry Trotz, Joe Quenneville, and Scotty Bowman are the only coaches that have more wins than him as a head coach in the NHL.
And this is what Tortorella said roughly 36 hours before he was fired.
On me, I'm not really interested in learning how to coach this type of season where we're at right now, but I have to do a better job. So this falls on me, getting the team prepared to play the proper way until we get to the end.
Just that first bit there, I'm not interested in figuring out how to coach this.
Well, I mean, he doesn't exactly beat around the bush at all.
He's not one to do that. So
that's stepping down without stepping down. You know what I mean? Like, this is not for me. Like, I don't like this. This is not for me. I'll do it for the interim, but this is not for me.
Yeah, how to get yourself fired, but I mean, maybe that's what he wanted.
Oh,
He still gets
100%.
paid.
Yeah,
He'll get paid the.
if he quit, he wouldn't get paid, right? So if he gets fired, so it's like, okay, you're not happy. Like, let's give the players a win here to finish off the season. Just take the rest of the season off. Have a good one. Best of luck.
Yeah.
He's John Tortorella. He's going to find a job pretty quickly.
I mean, yes and no. I don't know who's gonna take him.
He's not a terrible coach. It's not going
It's
to be like a team in development or in transition from being a bad team to a good team. Like, it's not going to be the San Jose Sharks that are going to hire him. It's not going to be any teams that are trying to develop their young players.
well, Guy suggested that the Bruins hire him. He really wants him there. He's
Yeah.
made some compelling arguments. The best one is that he's the coach that coached the Columbus Blue Jackets into sweeping the Tampa Bay Lightning that year that Tampa was top.
Yeah.
They go down, I forget if it was 3-0 or 4-0. And then all of a sudden I turn the game back on just to see, and Columbus has the lead, and then they take the entire damn series in 4 games. Like, I remember how mad Kucherov was when Artemi Panarin came up to do the handshake.
Was he?
I'll see if I can find the clip.
See if you can find it. But yeah, it's I can't see him being out of the league too long, honestly. He's still a decent head coach, and he's won a Stanley Cup. Not every coach can say that they've won a cup. I mean, look how long Paul Maurice has been in the league already. He's one of the only, like, one of the 8 coaches that's ahead of John Tortorella in wins. He's got 1 Stanley Cup. He just won it with the Florida Panthers. He just won it with. I mean, like, look how long ago it was that Paul Maurice was the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
True.
And then the Winnipeg Jets.
Here, take a look at this. This makes me laugh every time.
Let's see. High five. High five.
Screw this. I wish you could see his face a little bit more. But
100%. 100%.
Anyway,
yeah,
going to some current NHL news. Jacob Chychrun has signed a massive extension.
Is it Chychrun or is it Chychrun? I've heard both many times.
I say Jacob Chychrun.
Chychrun.
I could be wrong, but that's how I've heard it pronounced for the most part. So I just go with it, and no one's corrected me. If
Fair.
there is a proper way to say it, maybe someone will correct me.
Okay, fair. I truly don't know, because I've heard both as often as each other many times. So, like, I don't know if it's Chychrun or Chychrun. So if someone does know, leave it in the comments below. Make fun of one of us for being wrong, because I'm definitely wrong either way, and Andrew could be wrong. So if it's wrong, let us know in the comments.
So Chychrun's an
Chychrun.
interesting one. He's
Chychrun.
good, like very good offensively. He's an offensive D-man. He's been signed to, say the contract, 8-year extension, $9 million a year. So lots of money for him. 72 million bucks in the bank.
Yeah. I mean, he's still relatively young. He's coming into his prime years, realistically.
Yeah, he's 26. There was a point that I wanted Ottawa to keep him and sign him long term and trade Shabby, but I think Shabby's actually a better rounded defenseman than he is. But that said, Chychrun's done amazing this year statistically, and it's just a matter of, does he keep it up? Because this, of course, was a contract year for him, and now he's earned that big extension.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
and the same thing. He's playing with the Washington Capitals. they're a high flying offense team, he fits right in there because like he's a power play specialist. Well, sorry, maybe not like a power play, but like he's an offensive defenseman.
He can quarterback a power play, no problem.
Yeah, but like I mean, it definitely helps. It. Look who he's got as forwards to pass to. He's got quite literally the greatest goal scorer of all time. Not yet. It's not official because he's still 6 goals yet there, but he gets to feed Ovi. He gets to feed Dubois on the other side. Like, just to name a couple guys, like they have a very strong offensive team. So
I'm just thinking, yeah, he's on the first power play.
Yeah.
You know what's really funny? Ovechkin's on both power plays.
Well, I mean, it's not like he works hard. He does this.
No, he kind of just stands there, so it works.
Wait, let me take a half step back. Okay, step forward. Oh, you got... Okay, no, not yet.
Sometimes that's all you need to do.
Okay, it's down the corner. I'm still standing here at the face-off dot. Now it's back to the point, back to the corner. Oh, now it's in my corner. Oh, now it's back around the net. Back to the point. Hey, I scored! Like, that's what he does in the power play. He does not move more than, like, 5 feet on the power play. So it's like he can afford to spend 2 minutes out there. So I do remember way back in his career, like his rookie season when Ovi was eating it from the coach because he was taking regularly 2.5 minute shifts on the ice, and the coach was like, no, this does not happen. But I mean,
did you hear that?
Tell Diane I said bless you.
No, that's my dad. That doesn't work.
I know. I was just making a joke.
That is a dad sneeze and a half.
That was perfect timing.
That's the definition of a dad sneeze.
Oh yeah. Sometimes, not because I'm a dad, but sometimes there's nothing better than just letting it absolutely rip with a sneeze. It's just like that soul fulfilling feeling. But anyway, back to Chychrun. He's an offensive defenseman. He's almost as offensive defenseman as they come. It's with the cap going up. If this was like 2 years ago, I'd be like, okay, that's a pretty big overpayment. With the where the cap is going, I think it's a fair deal. Might be at 9 mil, might be maybe a mil higher than I would go. But
yeah. To wrap it up, basically, I think if he stays around the level that he's been at this year, it's definitely a good contract. But realistically, he'll drop off a little bit. So even with the cap going up, it's a little bit of an overpay. That's all.
I think so. It's definitely not the worst contract. I mean, you could have Seth Jones at 9 mil. You could have Darnell Nurse at 9 mil.
Yeah, when you compare those two, it's like, well, I'll take Chychrun.
Yeah, especially this year at 4.6. I would take Chychrun right now over either one of those guys. And probably, as a Leafs fan, I'd take him right now over Morgan Riley. Because he's almost half the cap hit and producing double the points almost. So, yeah, I'd take him over Morgan Riley right now. But
yes, but that cap hit is just lucky. That's all.
Yeah.
This is not on our schedule, but this has happened tonight, and this is historic. Crosby secured his 20th consecutive point per game season, passing Wayne Gretzky for most consecutive point per game seasons in NHL history, making him the best player for point per game. He's never had a season under a point per game.
So, just thinking about that, I mean, he hasn't played nearly as many games as Gretzky has. Gretzky was, how many games did he play?
I don't know, but you're right.
So, like, do you think Crosby, if he had stayed healthy his whole career, do you think he could have been up there?
Crosby would definitely be higher. You have to look at the prime years that he missed.
Every year's I mean, he's got 20 20 points per game seasons. Every year's a prime year for him.
But you have to look at his real prime years.
I know what you're saying.
Pull this up. Like, if you look at the time that he missed, it was his prime where he could have put up 140 points. Like, you really don't know just because all the concussion time missed. So he sits ninth with 1,675 points in 1,343 games. Gretzky has 1,487 games played.
Yes. So for reference, obviously Gretzky has a higher points per game, but just how much higher? Crosby has, like you said, 1,675 points in 1,343 games played, which gives him a 1.25 points per game, rounded up to the nearest second decimal point. Whereas Wayne Gretzky is 2,857 points at 1,487 games played, which is 1.92 points per game. That's NHL 25 stats for many players playing 3-on-3 hockey. Is 2 points per game.
Yeah. But if you look at Crosby's year, so first year in the league, 102 points and 120, and then 72 and 53, and 103 and 77, 109 and 81. Then came the 3 years where he barely played 41 games, 22 games, and 36. But he put up 66 and 41, 37 and 22, and 56 and 36. Like, it's just so, those numbers are still good, especially considering the little amount of playing time that he got and having to jump back in and all that.
Yeah. It is tough. Like, you'll never know. I'm sure there's someone who could put up some sort of comparative stats to have like the career trajectory he would have had if he had stayed healthy. But there's one thing that Sidney Crosby, all-time great, like one of the all-time greats, has with a commoner in the NHL. He has as many cup wins as Pat Maroon.
Oh my God, enough of Pat Maroon. I've heard the guy interviewed on Morning Cup of Hockey, and he's a really nice guy from the sounds of it. But
Pat Maroon?
Yes.
He looks like he would be a nice guy. He's got one of those like nice guy faces, you know what I mean?
Fun fact about him, you know how he's more, not a goon, but like he plays that role.
He's a grindy power forward.
He wasn't originally. He had to adjust his game. He was kind of a top scorer type guy. Wasn't gritty, didn't fight all the time, but he figured that to stay in the league, that's what he had to become.
You gotta do what you gotta do, right? Like Matt Rempe's fighting because that's what's keeping him in the league. His physicality. He was never a goal scorer. He was never a point scorer. Like, that's not what he does. His role is enforcer. He's an enforcer.
So
a dirty enforcer.
Going back to Crosby here, I'm just looking at those years to see what his points per game would put him at over 82. So the 41 game season, if he had played 82 and kept that same pace, 132 points instead of 66.
Not bad. 66, Mario Lemieux.
Well, I guess you can look at that.
Yeah.
If you look at that season where he only played 22 games, if he had played the full 82, it would have put him at 138 points. So once again, another big difference.
Yeah, I mean, we all know he's quite literally one of the top. He's top 10 in points all time, right? So,
and that final season, if he had played at that same pace once again, 128.
128.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
So for fun, let's take off what he already scored that season.
Mm-hmm.
So he already scored 56. So that put us at 72.
It would put us about, that 1,900 points.
I'm going to add all of these just to see.
Yeah.
So you go ahead and
I,
talk a little bit more about Crosby while I do this quick.
I'm guessing it's going to be around 1900, just off the like ballpark math. Just a quick estimate, but I mean, superstition, being absolutely psychotic about your rituals, and like that OCD. Because like there's a clip that I just saw where he was just in the pregame warm-ups, warming up with one puck, and he was stick handling, and he lost it somehow, and it went over onto the Tampa Bay Lightning side. And he just skated over and just like reached through the Lightning player that was just standing there. He just reached through him to grab the puck back. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I need that puck back, please." It was like it's a big no-no crossing center ice in the pregame skate.
It is, but for Sid,
Yeah,
certain players,
he wanted his puck. He wanted his puck back, but it's. I mean, there's a reason why. What's his record at the international level as like captain of Team Canada? It's like 22-1 or something like that.
Well, Dave, good guess. 1,913 points if he had have done that. And the crazy thing is, you know where that puts him on the list?
I do.
Third
place.
And all but a guarantee to pass Yager.
Yeah. Jaromir Jagr. Yep. I mean, now, those seasons, it was still early season. You never know. Like, it's easy to say, like, if he had scored at that pace all season. I mean, Crosby probably could have, whether or not he did finish that. But, yeah,
there's no guarantees. You're right. But
there goes my math again, though. I was like, oh, that'll be about, 1,900 off by 13 points with just a rough estimate rounding. Yeah. I'm pretty good at math in my head, like head math.
Good job.
But, yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, everybody knows Crosby's one of the all-time greats, but you look at Lemieux. He's the only player in the top 10 that has less than 1,300 games played. And he doesn't even have 1,000 games played, 915. And he's still was at 48 points behind, like ahead of Crosby right now.
Yeah, if he had been able to play, if it wasn't for the cancer and other issues, it would have been something.
Like 1,700 points in 915 games. That's absolutely insane. Like it's like just to do some real math. I'm just curious to know. I might have done this on one of our previous episodes, but it would put him if he played the same amount of games as Gretzky, it would put him 57 points behind him.
Yeah, we have discussed it before.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I brought that up, but yeah.
Yeah, we've been close. That's for sure.
Can you imagine how many more points Crosby would have this season if the Penguins weren't as bad as they are?
It's funny. My coworker's a Pens fan. We were talking about it. He's like, if he was on a contender and he just had a couple guys to play with, he'd have so many more points. And my coworker's right, 100%.
Oh, 100%.
He'd be doing, a little bit better there.
Like you look at Zach Hyman, goes and plays with McDavid. Of course, he's going to put goals in. All he has to do is sit in front of the net and just wait. Like Ovi on the power play, just sit on the far post and wait. McDavid's going to bounce off him and in.
Yeah.
So that's
keep in mind, Crosby's 11th in league scoring right now with 79 points. So, you put him with some capable people on a good team.
Yeah.
Add 10 points, 15 points. I could put him as high as 4th.
Can you imagine what they could have done if for just one season, Ovi and Crosby decided to sign for the same team just to play on the same line and have some fun? Can you imagine that? Ovi, Crosby's just like, here, you just go stand over in your office at the face-off dot. I'm just going to put it on your stick, and you're going to score 50 goals this season. You're going to, in your last game of the NHL, your last season of the NHL, you're going to score 60 goals. Let's do this.
Well, speaking of Ovi, he's getting really damn close to the record. 6 goals away from breaking it.
6 goals.
Yeah.
He's right there. Right there. And it's just, I mean, I would love to see it. I've never looked at the stat, but I mean, he was playing in a dead puck era. Was like his rookie seasons, like his first few years was like a dead puck era where the goals per game were so low. That just shows you like Ovi is scoring at a pace, point for point, the same as Gretzky was, like way better than Yager.
You'd have to do the era adjusted stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's what I mean. So like, how much ahead would that put Ovi if you were adjusting for that era? Like Gretzky was playing in this time where like 5 goals in a game was not uncalled. Like it was not obscene. Ovechkin was playing his first bunch of years in the NHL was like a lot 2-1, 3-1 games. Like you didn't see as many of those 8-7 games like you see when the Leafs play a 2:00 game against the Winnipeg Jets. But like you know what I mean? So like I'm wondering what his era adjusted goals would be. And he would pass Crosby, he would pass Wayne Gretzky last year based on that, I'm guessing. So yeah, two of the all-time greats. I said in the previous episode.
here,
I remember the
on
days
his
of
era adjusted,
yes.
996. Wayne Gretzky would be at 758.
So he would have passed him last year. Because he would have been like 100 goals ahead of him right now. Give or take a few.
Yeah, like he's way ahead.
Yeah.
But era adjusted is not part of real records, so
Nope.
We'll have to wait for a few goals. It could come this season. It's going to be really damn close.
Yeah.
It's going to be really, really close.
I mean, how many games have the Washington Capitals played this year? 71 games, is it? Something like that?
Yep.
So I said on one of our previous episodes, based on just pure math numbers, that what his pace was that he's scoring at this season, and just multiplying it by the number of games that he could play this season, and it put him at, I think it was like the second period of game 78. And for Ovi scoring like 6 goals in 7 games, that's not unheard of. So I hope he picks it up at that point. Ovi has been known when he's starting to reach records or like some sort of level or like reaching another player, he starts to heat up. He's done that through his career. He's like, oh, I could do this. Okay, well, I'm just, instead of doing it next month, I'm going to do it like in the next week. I'm just going to score 5 goals in the next week. Ovi has done that several times in his career. So I hope he does that, just so that I have to go back in our previous podcast and find that clip so I could play it like in one of the next episodes. That would be amazing. Just say, oh, based on pure math, he's going to score it. He's going to tie Gretzky at game 78 in the second period. And he does it. That would be amazing. But
yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, the grade 8 only needs 6 goals. Like we're getting antsy here. Do it this season. Just do it. Get it over with. Do it. And then next season is just about extending that lead. That's all you got to do. Just do it.
Okay. Well, I got one thing that we can wrap up with. This could easily change, but what the playoffs will look like if the standings stay how they are. They may not. But we have one matchup that both of us should enjoy in the first round. The Leafs currently hold the top spot in the Atlantic, and Ottawa currently holds the first wildcard spot, which would have them matching up in a Battle of Ontario first round.
I was just thinking to myself, would that make the Leafs, like, are the Leafs first or second in the conference? I was like, oh yeah, Washington's taking it.
They run away with it.
Yeah, they're 14 points ahead of the Leafs right now. The Leafs are not going to make that up. Even if this is game 50, I would still put that, not make that up. Not because it's Washington, but because it's the Leafs. But
it's crazy their goal diff too. Plus 73.
plus 73.
Yeah, there's only one team better in the league, and that's the Jets with plus 77.
Gotcha. Sorry about that. Quick little break there, everybody. Sorry. To our one follower friend. Yeah. No, when I was put just a quick backstory. I was putting my daughter to bed today, and I went to say, "Give me a hug," and she thought I was trying to tickle her. So then she kicked hard, really hard, and smoked her head off the corner of the headboard. And now she's just saying that her head really hurts. So I just ran upstairs to get my wife some ice and Tylenol to give to her. That's all.
Okay, fair.
That things happens. Kids bump their heads. Hopefully they'll get up in the morning.
So we'll just run through the other potential playoff matchups. So if Montreal can hold on to that spot, we're looking at a Washington Capitals Montreal matchup. Caps should take that one in theory.
Caps Habs.
Caps Habs, yeah. Carolina Hurricanes, New Jersey Devils. Canes should smoke the Devils, especially with the injuries that the Devils have faced.
It's amazing to me with the injuries that they have that they've been able to hold on.
Well, to be fair, the next closest team is Columbus, and that's a 10-point gap. Like, if this was, if they were in the Atlantic, Ottawa would be 2 points back on them.
Oh, do you say Columbus?
Yeah, Columbus is sitting.
Well, I mean, the Islanders and Rangers are 9 points back.
True. Okay, my bad.
But yeah, it's still 9 points with like 10 less than a dozen left. It's not going to happen. Yeah. And it's also the Rangers. Maybe they hired.
That's pretty much a guaranteed matchup there. So that one should be fun.
Yeah.
Panthers and Tampa, it could happen. It might not. I mean, every team in the Atlantic there is tied at 89 points. So it just depends.
Yeah.
Florida and Toronto have a game in hand on Tampa, but you have to win that game for one.
Mm-hmm.
And for two, I mean, any team could take that first spot. So we'll see, see what happens.
It could literally come down to an overtime loss.
It really could. Toronto has the best row by a couple. They have a 42 row, so that's going to help them out. But
the Leafs have only been in 2 shootouts this year, and they've been 2 shootouts, and they've won one, lost one. Like, and these shootouts didn't come until like a couple weeks ago. So like when they've gone to overtime, they've fared fairly well. Like, the games don't go to shootouts if they make it to overtime, and Leafs are winning more in their overtime than they're losing. But it's just like seeing the standings as a Leafs fan. Yes, we're going back to the Leafs. The Leafs bias. Yes, it's disappointing to see this because very predictably, there's been a bunch of games this season where like, oh, well, the Leafs should win. They should, and then they lose a back-to-back where they, oh, well, okay, they should. It'll be a close game against Tampa, and then they should beat Columbus. But as a Leaf fan, you're like, okay, they're going to beat Tampa. They're going to lose to Columbus on the first game of the back-to-back, and then beat Tampa. That's how it's going to go, and it does. And you're like, there's some very winnable games, like Vancouver coming into Toronto on the back half of back-to-back with 2 guys, like 2 of their stars out, plus a flu bug going through their locker room, and the Leafs get shut out 3-0. Or they're playing the Nashville Predators, and they lose 5-2. Nashville Predators, who Luke Shen very famously said, "I've never played for a team who cannot score like this." So like there's some very extremely winnable games, or San Jose Sharks on the back half of a back-to-back coming into your barn and you lose. So it's like
hopefully they win against them tonight.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, when I did my Tim's picks today, I did them like I picked Leafs players, so I picked Matthews because it's like, he's Matthews. I know he's been on a slump this year. Sorry, I was just plugging in my laptop so it doesn't die on me. But I know he's been on a slump this year, but it's Matthews. And so I picked Matthews, And I can't remember if I picked Lawrence or if I picked, sorry, not Lawrence, Lawton, or if I picked Bobby McMahon.
I picked Bobby McMahon.
I would pick Bobby McMahon, but okay, I did pick McMahon. I picked Matthews, McMahon, and McCabe. The triple M's.
Okay.
The double max.
Moving off of the Leafs
anyway,
and
yeah.
random discussion. Let's see.
Just knowing the amount of points, that's all I'm saying is knowing the amount of points the Leafs have left on the table from piss poor play, the Leafs could have been closer, like far closer to the Washington Capitals.
You could probably go through Florida's games and Tampa's games and pick out ones that, they could have won as well.
It's not that they could have won it. They should have won. Like,
yes,
all the stars are aligning, and they've still lost.
Okay.
But
now that we're done complaining about the Leafs, we have the Jets facing the Blues. If the Blues keep up their play in the first round, that could also become a Vancouver. Vancouver's been a little bit better their past couple, but we'll see.
I want to see the rematch of the Four Nations Cup's final goaltending duel. Binnington versus Hellebuck.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
But we'll see. The Jets should be able to get over them.
Should.
See if the Jets make it out of the first round. Then another matchup would be Knights Wild. That one, if Kaprizov comes back, that'll be interesting. The Knights are pretty stacked, but if Gustafsson can stand on his head and Kaprizov can be Kaprizov, they have a chance. I'd still give the edge to the Knights quite easily, but there'd be a chance.
Minnesota, for me, this season, I did not expect them to be as good as they are, or as good as they have been, especially early on in the season. I did not have them. Like, they were they were first in the division for a bit. I did not see that one. So, like, I wouldn't put it past them, but Vegas have a Stanley Cup recently. So, and they have a lot of players from that team. I can't see them losing to Minnesota. Like, I'd be predicting probably a five game series there.
I'd give it 6, but yeah, I'd give it to Vegas too.
Yeah.
Then we have the matchup that happens year after year, LA Edmonton. I'm gonna have to go with history. Edmonton.
Yeah.
I don't know if LA's really figured it out.
Draisaitl has that mean streak. Like, there's a replay I saw of Draisaitl. He was breaking into the zone. He noticed the defender was kind of like body turned, one hand on the stick. Draisaitl just goes whoop and just smacks the stick right out of his hands and just like, see ya. And it's like, it made me laugh, but it was like, it's not. And people were like, well, isn't that slash? No, it's not slashing because he had the puck, and you're allowed to stick check players. Especially if you have the possession of the puck, you're allowed to do that. It's not slashing, but yeah, in this series, I'd give it to Edmonton in 7.
Well, the other matchup is Dallas and Colorado, and honestly, the top 3 teams in the Central should all be a conference final sort of matchup, like Jets, Stars, Avalanche.
Yeah.
But that's going to be one hell of a first round. Amount of talent on those 2 teams. I mean, Mikko Rantanen facing off against his old team too. It's going to be fun. And they got Granlund in there.
Yeah.
They have one hell of a top 9, and then Colorado has the best player, or at least highest scoring player in the league right now in McKinnon.
Yeah, and the best D-core.
Their D-core is insane.
And they have confidence in their goaltending for once this season.
Yeah, the goalie pickups have been good. It's going to be something to watch. Like, I'll watch that matchup just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
But that'll be a great matchup.
For me, that's the series to watch in the first round would be that matchup. And it just sings credence to the fact that the NHL really should look at going back to the 1v8 format. Because, like, imagine having that as your conference final or second round. But, like, knowing that one of those teams, like, both of those teams emptied out their covers to basically try and up the arms race on it. And
Yeah.
to see one of those teams will be eliminated in the first round, then you have potentially like Minnesota or St. Louis that are gonna squeak through. That could squeak through. It's very disappointing from that point of view. Like you
The
want to see the best
1v8,
teams.
it'd be a little bit better. Basically, it'd be St. Louis, Winnipeg,
St. Louis,
Minnesota,
Winnipeg.
Dallas, Edmonton, Vegas. That'd be interesting. Then Colorado, LA.
Well, it wouldn't. No, you'd have. It would still be Vegas. Like it would still be Vegas versus Minnesota, because you like in the old format, it was the top two teams in each division, or the top teams in each division played like 6, 7, 8, right? Because there was 3 divisions back then. So it'd still be Winnipeg, St. Louis, and then Vegas, Minnesota. But then you'd have Dallas, Edmonton, Colorado, LA.
Dave, the new one that I've seen is just a simple 1v8. So 1v8, 2v7, 3v6, 4v5.
I'd still want, like, you still gotta, in that sense, you still gotta reward them for winning the division. So that's why I'd still do like the first division, second wild card, second division winner, second or first wild card. That's why I would still do it like that. And then the 2v3 or whatever, however that lines up would just be however it lines up. That's the
I
way
don't
I would
think
do
you
it.
get
personally.
rewarded for having a shitty division. If you win your division and there's a team above you and the other one, so be it.
Well, I mean, the Leafs won the Canada division and during COVID and lost to the Habs.
Yeah, it's because it's the Leafs.
There still has to be some sort of reward, whether it's actual reward or not. There still has to be something for winning the division. Like, yeah, you can be in a shitty division, but
Well, you can be like
still won.
Nashville and hang a banner. How about that? The Eastern Conference would change a little bit. Habs Caps would still be a thing, but Sens and Hurricanes would be another matchup. That'd be different. Devils, Maple Leafs, that'd be different. And then we'd have a Florida matchup with the way the standings currently are.
In my format, doing the division leaders, it would be, again, like you said, Habs Caps. Then it would be Leafs Sens. And then you're looking at Carolina, New Jersey, and yeah, it would be the same thing actually, except just the one, like the division leaders versus wild cards. That would be the only difference. But yeah, I think you'd have to go that route. That's the way I would do it. But yeah.
Anyway, that's about all we have to cover today. It was a little bit of bonus, random stuff, honestly. But we'll be back next week, maybe earlier, through some news. And we'll see how that playoff picture's shaping up, see what else is going on in the league, see if Ovi breaks the record, all that fun stuff.
Now, just on a quick side note, on the flip side, I still think it's crazy that Buffalo is not eliminated from playoff contention yet, but Chicago and San Jose in the West are. And that just shows you how bad those teams are compared to Buffalo. But
it also shows you how close the Eastern Conference is.
Yeah.
It's a mix of.
In the same sense, like I have a prediction that the San Jose Sharks are going to be a playoff team within like 3 years. Their prospect pool is just absolutely insane.
It is. They could be adding a Michael Misa to that.
Yeah. And the San Jose Sharks, like from what I've seen, like the players are just having fun. They're just having so much fun, just living life. Like
the
Sabres,
Will Smith and Celebrini had a sleepover.
Yeah, like they're just having fun. Like they're in a for the worst team in the league, they're having a lot of fun doing it. Like their future is so bright, in my opinion. And don't do that. It's tripped me out. But then you look at Buffalo, who's the other bad team in the league, or the worst team in the West, and they're just absolutely miserable.
They are, but that's been Buffalo's problem for a while.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But Yeah.
You have anything else to add?
No, go V.
Okay. Well, as always, like, share, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, shoot us a message on Instagram, tweet us, or whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Who wants to be comment number 2?
Okay. Have a good night, everyone.
Bonne nuit.